So, okay.
See the agenda.
That's what I was saying. I
Hold on
didn't
one
print
second.
one because
Let me-
I didn't know if I had the most updated one. I was looking
I
for
asked
it,
Miss Stephanie if
and my Outlook shut down on me.
I sent it to her.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, she probably knows, so we can get something out. Man, go on now, man. Man, I'm just trying to work through it, man. So I come in here. Let's
Coming
go.
or not coming?
Let's go with the meeting.
Okay. So this is the regularly scheduled Planning and Zoning Committee and Special Call Committee of the Whole meeting for November 8th, 2023. It's past 3:30, 3:41. The meeting is called to order. The minutes, I don't remember receiving the minutes from the last meeting.
Okay, so we're delaying.
So we'll move the minutes until the next meeting.
Okay.
We have 3 zoning cases. Mr. Gambrell, are you going to?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, this first case is actually coming back to P and Z after a discussion. I'll go ahead and read through the report anyway. So it is an application to change zone district boundaries from CB1, which is contingency neighborhood business district, to C2 general commercial district in order to allow for an event center filed by Courtney Jones, owner of the property located at 6900 2nd Avenue South, situated in the southeast quarter of Section 15, Township 17 South, Range 2 West, 35212. That is in Council District 5. As mentioned, the proposed use is for an event center named Atlas 360. The applicant will be opening and desires to open an event center, full-service event venue, host weddings, receptions, corporate event, private party, baby shower, that type of stuff. Operating hours will be, Monday through Thursday, 12 to 10, Friday to Sunday, noon to midnight. The subject property sits on .37 acres of land, currently zoned CB1. Adjacent to the north, southwest are R3, single-family district. The parcel to the east is also zoned CB1, contingency business district. The long-range land use plan identifies the property as residential low. As an event center, the zoning ordinance would require that they receive a special exception from Zoning Board of Adjustment. And there's a couple of conditions associated with that. When they're near a dwelling district within 200 feet, they're limited in their hours of operation from 7 a.m. to midnight. The applicant is aware of their need to go to Zoning Board of Adjustment for their special exception. Their parking requirement is 60 parking places. The site has 12, and so they are deficient 48 spaces, and they will need to go to Zoning Board of Adjustment either for a modification or a shared parking agreement. Well, you'll probably hear more about that later. There will be a landscaping review, and they're going to have to do some buffering adjacent to residential. Stormwater has commented and basically said that the various stormwater permits would be required. Birmingham Department of Transportation reviewed site plan, doesn't have any concerns of traffic flow, parking, ingress, egress. The neighborhood recommendation, East Lake Neighborhood Association met May 2nd, 2023, reviewed proposed project and voted unanimously to support. There were 24 votes. ZAC, the Zoning Advisory Committee, met at a regular scheduled meeting on May 16, 2023, and they voted unanimously to recommend. The last time we were before Planning and Zoning Committee on June 14, 2023, we reviewed the project and voted not to recommend the request. But I don't. Is that accurate? Did we vote at that time?
At which meeting?
Oh, I see. Okay. My bad. So this actually made it to City Council. I forgot about that. I was there, but somehow I forgot already. So the City Council met on October 10, 2022 to review the proposed project and voted to send it back to P&Z for the review of possible queue conditions. And so if you flip over to the next page, you will see, I think there are 2 pages attached here that list a whole bunch of uses that would not be allowed if this property were to be rezoned. And so the other queue is to restrict the hours of operation. We're not listing that here. I guess we need to do that when we go forward.
Sunday night is a problem, to stay up until midnight when people go to work the next morning.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about that.
Let's see. Yeah, the report we have here shows Friday to Sunday, so we can talk about the details of that in just a second. But so, we've got these queue conditions before us. I think we've basically queued out every use except for an event center that's allowed in commercial. So, just be this one use. And then I guess there's this question about the hours of operation.
Okay, thank you. Now, the applicant I know is here. I've been in so many meetings with you, I feel like we're friends.
We're friends.
So if
It's
you'd
8
like to
p.m.
come close to our microphones, because we always have microphone challenges. If you just sit over here somewhere. we can-
Like academic council.
Okay, so you have met with the staff and agreed to the queue conditions?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then there's the issue of the hours of operation, and Sunday night, I believe, is a problem.
Yeah, it wasn't, it didn't transfer. It's gonna be
Like
closed.
Friday and Saturday.
So Sunday through Thursday, it closes at 8 p.m.
Yeah, and so we just need
Oh,
to
Yeah,
move
it's
that.
8 p.m.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Sunday through Thursday.
And then even Friday and Saturday is 10 p.m.
Okay,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday,
So
so,
Friday and Saturday are 10 p.m.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
we even reduced that too.
and it's
Okay.
noon to, on both situations?
Yes.
Okay, noon to 10,
Mhm.
Friday, Saturday,
Right.
noon to 8 otherwise. Okay.
Okay, okay, so we have the list
Right.
of the items that would be queued out, which is basically everything in C2. And, got the hours of operation down pat, with those changes of every day of the week it'll close at 10 o'clock.
And Counselor Abbott, I would mention too, that third page, that attachment dealing with the queues, has a list of the uses that actually would be allowed.
Well, now,
So just for reference, I guess. So,
okay, a duplex.
Yeah, you see that?
Well, okay, I do see it. I didn't see it before. The duplex, triplex, or quadplex, communal living facility. Of course, I don't know what they'd be accessory to if you're gonna have a caretaker or an accessory dwelling. But anyway, dwelling unit other, accessory structure. So, accessory to what?
to the primary building, yeah.
There's room to build an accessory structure? on this?
I don't know that there is, but I think it's just kind of one of those typical ones.
Well, I
that-
don't think we ought to put anything in here that's impossible. Because if there's only 12 parking spaces and 60 are required, and I know we're gonna hear
Right,
about the
right,
arrangements, but also, if you can't build an accessory structure on the property because there's no room, then, why have it on here? Just confusing.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me. And it does look like they're fairly limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, there may be a little space for a storage building or something like that, but
Yeah, one you buy at Home Depot.
yeah, some kind of thing like that, yeah.
But I don't know that that would count as an accessory structure, so is it okay?
Yes,
to-
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And we
we'll add
don't
that to the
need a,
list.
we don't need a caretaker dwelling, because there's no place to put one. Or an
Right.
accessory dwelling. I mean, if you were gonna demolish the building or outfit it as 3 or 4 apartments or something, I guess, it still wouldn't be accessory. Isn't accessory mean it's a separate building?
Yeah, it's accessory to the primary use, yeah. And it would end up being a separate building. If it's attached, we wouldn't call it accessory, so, yeah, an accessory structure is one that is not attached, that's accessory to the primary use.
Okay, so we'll leave duplex, triplex, quadplex, just in case, communal living facility, dwelling unit, other. And then garage sale, yard sale, home occupation. So home occupation to an event center?
Yeah, I mean,
I think some of those are just that. I would scratch through those. Only thing that I would add would just be a
Yeah,
because
what
right
do you
now,
wanna have besides an event center?
only thing right now office space,
Okay,
office space and warehouse space. That's what it is now, and that was left off. Because
okay.
I think on that sheet that you have, I think they have something on there with is it like a chicken coop or something? I think that's just some
yeah,
Oh.
it's on the list.
So we
you
can
know.
take that
I
off.
mean,
I think that's just
Coop,
And we don't
garden.
need, you
Take all
don't need
that
to be
off.
keeping bees
No,
or
no.
chickens.
no. Take all that off.
Community garden, there's no room for one. I mean, if you demolish the building,
no.
you could have a park. but-
Right.
Okay, so you want to have an event center, which is a special exception, and you want to be able to have a mobile grocery store stop there.
No, no. I think a lot of that stuff was just left on there by accident. So I would
Okay.
just scratch through it.
So all of this stuff, a cellular tower, a broadcast satellite, a
Yeah.
market stand, would you ever have a market stand anywhere?
I wouldn't ever have a market stand, but we may do like a
But we'll leave the solar panels on there in case
For
you
sure,
go
for
for
sure.
solar.
for sure.
Okay.
Do you
so-
think you would ever do any kind of like
So it's a chicken coop.
farmer's market?
Please take that off.
Chicken coop is out.
Would you do any kind of farmer's market
like,
type of thing?
Like the farmer's market would just be on the weekend sometimes,
Yeah,
you know,
it
for the
just
area.
come and
Yeah, yeah.
visit.
Okay.
That'd be on the outside.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna keep the event center and solar panels, and now, an office use, is that in the,
It was left off. It's on the other side, but it's currently it's it's already was an office space.
Well, but the office would be for the event center,
Right.
or would it be separate use? I mean, if it's for the event center, I don't think you need to list office.
I think he's saying if he wasn't using it for an event center,
Yeah,
it could be
yeah.
an office.
I think it was like one of those things. Like if it was sold, what could the building be? That's what
I
I,
got
thought,
you.
right? Could it
I
be
got
used
you.
for an office? It could be used for an office space.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and I was looking for it on the list.
It's on the other side.
What is, which one, which,
That's the
Page two.
triple C,
Triple
triple little C.
office?
Oh, wait, back to the utility substation.
We'll see.
Office, there it is, it's just out, it's just weird.
Oh, here it is.
So,
Let's
we'll just
see.
put an office
Allow
on
that.
the good list.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, we'll leave the dwellings in case somebody wants to let people live there. And we'll leave the event center since that's what you want to do, and the solar panels and an office.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And everything else goes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and, well, the only thing I was gonna mention, if he's talking about doing some kind of farmer's market type of activity, let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, what does this say? Market stands permitted.
Anybody see a farmer's?
Okay, so it would have to be accessory to a community garden.
Mhm.
Okay, so then, yeah, farmer's market should be listed in
Oh,
here.
it's VV
Okay.
on the second page.
Market farmers.
Market.
Yeah, there you go.
On the farmers. So we'll put that one in.
Yeah,
It'd be similar to like the Woodline, what is it, Woodline Market. And then we'll just do it in East Lake sometime.
oh, so you're talking about, so it would be more than fresh foods and things?
Fresh food.
Maybe homemade
And
stuff?
then, yeah,
or-
just vent. I mean, I think they do it like once a quarter.
Okay,
right
so
there by
in
the
that
Highland
case, then
Church of
really
the
that's
Highland.
kind of more of a public Church of the Highland.
Well, don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, if you're going to do it, we make sure they're doing it the right way. And so I guess the difference between public market, farmers market is intended to sell fresh foods,
First vote.
and support farmers.
For sure.
Whereas the public market, you're required to have, I think, one vendor that sells food, but you can also sell, homemade goods,
Okay.
handmade goods.
Okay.
Somebody's selling earrings or,
Okay.
soaps, that
Okay.
kind of stuff.
Okay.
The idea with the public market is that, you're creating a space for entrepreneurs to develop a market for themselves, and then hopefully they can graduate to
For sure.
a building.
Oh.
So, and then when you mentioned Woodlawn, that's kind of the way that one's
That's
organized.
what they do over there. Okay.
Where, somebody might be selling T-shirts, they may be selling,
Because they do it like, I think once
Okay,
a
well,
quarter.
what we'll do is, we won't worry about what they're selling. We'll just put market, comma, farmers, and market, comma, public.
Okay.
And then we'll have
Okay,
both
we have it
it's
covered.
gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, now, can you talk to us about your parking arrangement?
So the actual, right, so next door, of course, we have the parking lot next door that has 30 parking places that we have the rights to. And then also.
Okay, you have a legal agreement that says.
With the
that-
owner. Mhm.
With the owner,
Yes.
so you'll bring that with you.
Yeah, it should be in the packet. If not, I can bring it to the next
Okay, is
meeting.
it already here?
It was, we talked about it before, I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely need to, that
Okay.
needs to be like a
Do you still have
permanent,
it?
a permanent deal.
This is from the neighborhoods.
So,
Are you talking about an agreement with the?
Yeah, I have it signed. I have it. I brought it to the other meetings. I thought
Okay.
I bought it every time. I just don't have it today, but I do have it. So I
Well,
have
that
it.
happens to me. I
Right.
get to the place where it counts and I don't have something, so.
And then
okay.
69th Street. So we have the park.
Okay, so you have a contract with the adjacent property owner to use how many spaces?
He has 30.
Okay, so you've got 12?
We have 12, 30, and then the 69th Street parking, and it's well over about 30, 35 parking places.
Okay. Okay. Okay, any other changes? Counselor Woods, do you have, any questions?
No, I think we're well versed on this one.
Okay.
Okay.
And let-
He never stated.
Oh, yeah, can you give us your name and address again?
Okay.
We forgot that.
Courtney Jones. And then it's the property address is 6900 2nd Avenue South. It's going to be Birmingham 35212.
Okay, that's the address of your building or your home?
That's the building.
Okay. Okay, so how many people are legally allowed to be in your event center by the fire department?
So that's the next phase. Once I get, then they
So
come
you
out
don't-
to
You don't know?
they come out
yet?
to measure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the next.
Okay. And all those new houses that were built where Cascade Plunge is now, did you reach out to them, contact them, and talk about what you're wanting to do?
Yes.
Okay. So, now, is there anybody in the room that wants to talk about this case? Yes, sir. Well, please come over and stand next to Mr. Jones, or sit next to Mr. Jones, and tell us your name and address, and
My name is Patrick Smith. I stay at 6831 2nd Avenue South, right across the street from Mr. Jones' property.
okay.
And at first I was against it, I was, because I had kids and, me and my wife, and it's a quiet community, and so Mr. Jones actually on the first meeting, he came over to my home and sit down with me and my wife, spoke with my kids, and they told me basically, just basically what he was doing. And I got kind of inspired about that, because I have a teenage son that kind of looks up to him, and I always tell him, I said, see, you could accomplish anything if you just get an education. This man is young, he's not out on the streets doing donuts, none of these people that you see on First 48. He's doing something positive. So, and with it inspired him, and that inspired me. And I was like, you know what, I like that, and really took us over there and showed us this, and, just told us basically what he was doing for the community. Because he's from the community. See, I'm not even from this side of town. I'm actually from the west side of Birmingham. So, talking with him, he's a native of the neighborhood, and he knows basically everybody around there, and, he's just doing something positive. And I just think we need more of that in our area, and we don't have a lot of that going on right now. I mean, every time you turn on Fox, that's what you hear. Somebody getting shot, this going on, that going on. What about the positive stuff that's going on in Birmingham? They always try to make Birmingham look bad. And they try to make other areas look all like they don't have crime, they don't have this going on, they don't have that going on. Okay, what about the positive stuff we got going on in our community? Let's talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about that. And every time you turn around, it's drama. Oh, guess who got killed on this, and this, nobody want to hear about that. What about the positive stuff that a young man is trying to do at his age? Because, most people his age, they doing donuts. They doing this, they doing that. So, how many positive people you see actually trying to start their own business and actually got something going on and actually got a good head on the shoulder? And that says a lot, coming from that community. Because every time I look around, I see pants hanging down right there and all that right there. This man ain't doing none of that. He wears a belt. He pulls his pants up on his rump. You know what I'm saying? And he's always got something positive to say. So I like that about him. There's a glow about him. And, for me to say that, because I was against it at first, I was one of, and you can remember, I came in here and I sit right here, I was totally against it. But then when I actually met with him, talked about it, and over the last couple of months, we became friends. My kids love him, and he's just doing a good thing for the community. And I just didn't understand it. And as I got to understand what was going on, I said, you know what, that's a great thing that he's doing. Us as people, we vote the wrong things down. Let's try to uplift us and bring Birmingham back. So I know it's just a small part of Birmingham, but we got to start something.
Well, that's true, and, so, Counselor,
Welcome to the east side.
Thank you, man.
I'll move, we send this to the full council with the apartment. Oh, you got something?
Well, I just wanted to verify that I've got the information correct. So, Sunday through Thursday, 12 to 8, Friday, Saturday, 12 to 10. That'll be a restriction on the hours of operation. The list of uses that we're queuing out, we're going to delete farmer market, public market, and office, but then we're going to add dwelling caretaker, dwelling accessory, dwelling unit.
Yep, but I think that's the opposite
It's
of
the
what we're
opposite.
doing.
That's
No,
No,
we're adding those to the restrictions.
Oh, adding them to the restrictions.
That's right, so we deleted farmer's market, public market office from the restriction, and then we're going to add to the restriction dwelling caretaker, accessory, dwelling unit, other, accessory structure, home
It's
occupation,
the same in here.
broadcast satellite, cellular, apiary, chicken coop, community garden, market
Deleting
stand.
it from the list of queue conditions and adding it to the list of.
Okay, but we have a sheet that says, this means that the following uses would be allowed.
Right, and those that I just mentioned would be deleted from that list and added to the queue list.
But there's some on the queue list that we're moving to the allowable list.
Right.
Okay, and you're gonna make it sound right when you write it up so that people.
Well, I hope so,
understand.
but yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we all agree that
Well,
farmer's
you were-
market, public
You were
market.
confusing me, it sounded like
He
you were
just said
taking
it
away
would
the
be a
things
way.
that he said he.
Well, I'm sorry.
wanted.
So the items that are on the queue list now include, a laundry list. 3 of those are going to be removed. Farmer's market, public market, office. So they would be allowed uses.
Right.
And then when you look at the sheet that says these uses would be allowed, we're going to add some of these to the queue list. And those are dwelling caretaker, accessory, dwelling unit, other, accessory structure, home occupation, broadcast satellite, cellular, apiary, chicken coop, community garden, market stand. So the allowed uses would end up being event center, farmer's market, public market, office, duplex, triplex, quadplex, communal living, garage sale, yard sale, park greenway. Do you want to leave mobile grocery store? You want to take that off? I mean, it's just an opportunity. So there's Live Health Smart is a program from UAB, and they have a mobile
Oh,
grocery.
it's under that.
Yeah, they have a
So
mobile
maybe-
grocery that they could come
That's good
out
for the community.
and potentially sell fresh foods in the community, right?
Let's leave it at, that's good.
Yeah, I think it's a good one to leave on there, I thought.
Good catch.
Yeah, so I think we're all in the same spot. And I'll type it up and we can verify. I'll send it to you, Counselor Abbott and Counselor Woods, and we can, Counselor Tate and Mr. Lee, and we can verify that we're all in agreement. And I'll send it to Mr. Jones as well.
Okay. I think I understood what you said. I've written a big Q on the list that has all the things that he wants to have on it, and then I'll compare it when you send me.
Okay.
Whatever.
I can do that.
So,
Move we send this to full council with the affirmative, positive recommendation with the noted changes.
well, I'm going to abstain. Because I like the applicant, but if something happened and he sold it to some other person, then we'd have a B2 in the middle of a neighborhood.
I'll
So,
amend my motion to send this to the full council with no recommendation.
okay, but we got all the cues that the now council president wanted us to come up with, so
That's
we've
right.
done our duty. Because when I speak at neighborhood associations, I always tell them not to vote on the personality of the person who's asking for the rezoning. Vote on what can be done in that zone district, because the person who's asking, who's your good friend, may move to Florida next week and sell it to So, I have to follow my own advice. But we will send it to the full council without a recommendation, but with the changes that we've all agreed to here, so that everybody on the council can read them and make a decision.
That's right.
You're still abstaining.
Oh, yeah, I'm well, no, I'm not abstaining anymore because he changed it, yes.
Okay.
I vote aye. Me, aye.
Yeah, so-
Okay, hold on one second.
All in favor, say aye.
No, you gotta restate the
I'll
motion.
withdraw my motion. I would like to
Thank
offer
you.
up a new motion that we send this to the full council without a recommendation to be decided by the full 9 councilors with fate at a future date.
Okay, any further discussion?
With the noted changes.
Any further discussion?
Not at this time.
I don't hear any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So, we're gonna do what we said.
Okay.
We're gonna send it to the full council with the changes.
Sounds good.
And Tim is going to write them up so that everyone understands them.
I hated to make it look.
Okay,
All
so
right, thank you.
that's the first item. Now let's go to the second item.
Okay. So number 2 on the agenda is ZAC 23-9. This is in the Sherman Heights neighborhood, and it is an application to change zone district boundaries from MXD to I-2 for a new transmission substation filed by Alabama Power Company with permission from the owner, U.S. Steel, for the property located at 1475 Pleasant Hill Road, situated in Southwest Quarter, Section 30 Township, 17 South, Range 3 West. This is in Council District 9. Proposed use is an Alabama Power transmission substation. Alabama Power intends to construct a new transmission substation on the property. Currently a transmission distribution station located in Inslee. The current facility on this side of the city are in need of dramatic upgrades. The new station will allow Inslee Station to be upgraded and remain a distribution station only, and the new facility will strengthen the power grid in the area through state-of-the-art technology, redundancy of the system. Further, it will provide the means to attract new industry to the area with a promise of safe, reliable electrical services. Alabama Power plans on constructing a new road with a gate that will provide ingress, egress to the site. The subject property is comprised of 11.58 acres for the substation and 5.592 acres for the access easement. Properties to the west are zoned MXD. Properties to the north and east are zoned M2, heavy industrial district, and properties to the south are zoned MXD and M2. The Jefferson County Water Reclamation Facility is located to the north of the site, and for some context, to the west of the site is the old Inslee Works. So there's a large vacant industrial property there. According to the master plan for Red Rock Ridge Valley Trail, trails proposed to the north, east of the site, according to the map, proposed trails do not traverse this property. Long-range land use plan identifies the property as heavy industrial. A utility substation is defined as a facility that regulates electrical current, telephone switching, natural gas pressure, distribution in individual neighborhoods. It is permitted use in the I-2 district with no conditions. The proposed development will require a survey to be reviewed and approved by subdivision committee. I believe it's going to be before the committee on Wednesday next week. The city's landscape architect had no concerns with the proposed site. Stormwater mentioned that applicant will need an ADM permit, SEC, civil construction. Stormwater would also like an H&H report since the project is increasing impervious area. All driveways and curb cuts will be needed to be reviewed by BDOT to ensure adequate ingress, egress. I think that driveway permit has already been approved by BDOT from what I was told this afternoon. The applicant met with Sherman Heights neighborhood on October 2nd, 2023. The neighborhood voted to support the rezoning request, 4 in support and 2 to not support. Neighborhood provided some comments. Project designed to support future needs of neighborhoods, surrounding areas. It does not impact neighborhood negatively. According to the report from Alabama Power, substation poses no environmental issues. Residents were concerned about the following: the design, noise, day and night, hours of operation, the impact the substation could have on the neighborhood, how it may impact or benefit the neighborhood. After rezoning, the project is, if after rezoning, project is abandoned, the rezoning should revert back, but that's really not legal. Frequency of system inspections to ensure efficiency of equipment and systems. They did recommend some conditions. That the substation should not be visible from the neighborhood. Heavy traffic flow should be avoided after normal workday hours. Proper lighting should be added to the main entrance area on Pleasant Hill Road. Landscaping beautification along the entrance. Noise levels should be kept to a minimum. Addition of traffic light on Highway 269 at Pleasant Hill Road. Those are their comments from Sherman Heights neighborhood. This location is near 3 different neighborhoods, so they actually went to 3 neighborhoods. So they met with Central Pratt on September 11, 2023, and that neighborhood voted to support the request 9-0. Update long overdue. This is their comment. Original one was built in 41. Additional substation benefit the community. Pledge support. and they apparently really appreciated Alabama Power's presentation. On the Inslee Neighborhood Association on September 12, 2023, the neighborhood voted to support the request 6-0. I'm sorry, they went to another neighborhood. They went to South Pratt as well. Oh, they were offered, South Pratt was offered, but they did not attend because the South Pratt didn't request it. It has been before Utility and Technology Committee. That committee on September 12, 2023 voted to recommend 3-0. We did list some possible queue conditions. There's a long list that you can see there. I'm not going to read every single one of those. ZAC met on September 7, 2023 and reviewed the project and voted to recommend, and it looks like they have the same recommended queue conditions.
Yeah, I just went down through them to be sure they were all the same.
Yeah.
And they are.
And I believe that concludes the report.
Okay, so the applicant, would you like to present to us and show what you're doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm Kimberly Jackson, Manager External Affairs of the Birmingham Division, and my address is 600 North 18th Street, Birmingham, 35203. I have my colleague,
Sir?
David Gray here in
Oh,
our
yeah,
corporate
yeah.
real estate team, who's actually leading this effort as it relates to the property. He and my other colleague, Mike Bunn, also have Jasmine Sledge here from Birmingham Division. And as was stated in the report, we are planning to upgrade, or would like to upgrade our substation that's currently located in the Pratt City neighborhood. It's, again, long overdue as it was built in 1941, so there are some significant upgrades that we need to make to that substation, as well as construct, because the site in Pratt City is not large enough to add a transmission substation there. We would like to construct one, and the property that we've identified as best for that is in the Sherman Heights neighborhood. So David has some maps for you, and he will give more details about the proposed project.
And if y'all have trouble seeing it, let me know. I made handouts too, so if you'd like one, I'll be more than happy to pass them out.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Councilor Woods, can you see?
You're fine.
Just as a little bit of background, our current substation is right along 11th Street in Inslee, which is right along Village Creek. On that site, there's actually two substations. There's a distribution sub and a transmission sub. What our plan is to retire the transmission sub and move it to property of, I guess this is the Village Creek Treatment Plant. This is some property owned by Vulcan Materials down here. And then our plan is to purchase property up in the corner of this from U.S. Steel. This would allow us to expand the distribution sub, which is down here, to basically demolish it, rebuild it on the existing footprint, and then transfer our transmission sub up to this direction. Some of the conditions or, I guess, issues that Sherman Heights, I think we met with them 4 times. We went to 4 different neighborhood meetings and kind of discussed, this would be the Sherman Heights neighborhood right here. None of our construction will impact their traffic area. Pleasant Hill Road, which runs up here, there's actually a little cul-de-sac right here before you go into the water treatment plant. And then we would divert off of that down into our sub-site, so there wouldn't be any actual construction traffic in the neighborhood or through the neighborhood area. As far as traffic during the day, which is another one of the concerns, our sub-sites are not manned. They're controlled by a control center down, I guess, right across the street here. So there wouldn't be any in and out traffic of employees throughout the day. It would be a build it and forget it type situation.
Only for maintenance purposes occasionally.
And we inspect them, I believe, twice a year. Twice a year for safety. Now, as far as why we selected this site, with our transmission sub currently being just down the creek a little bit, all of the required lines that would need to power this are already in the area. Most of our lines come in from this way and then travel down Village Creek to here. So there would be minimal community impact with rerouting of lines or anything like that. It would basically follow the existing footprint. As far as other properties that we looked at, we did search up here and then back down towards this direction a little bit, and we ran into environmental issues down there. So this site was ideal for what we needed it for. And given the location of it, we felt it was in the proper area. Now, as far as what we plan to do with the site, as stated earlier, I believe this is right at about 11 acres, if I'm not mistaken. This is the cul-de-sac that I mentioned before you go into the treatment plant. There'll be a road constructed that'll be a private road on U.S. Steel property, which we have an access agreement for, and I think we're going to the Board of Adjustments tomorrow
That's right.
to verify that. And then there would be a site with a secure fence with landscaping, and it would be a high fence. And then the sub-site on the pad, and then there would be a buffer between the site and Village Creek, so there wouldn't be any issues there as far as runoff onto the creek. One of the other things they have brought up is sight from the neighborhood. If you'll flip in your packet, I think to the third page, what we did is when we met with them the first time, they brought this up, and we actually rode around their neighborhood and took photographs of the site. And this is not going to be viewable at all from their neighborhood. We're kind of down in a valley, and the trees are too high. And I don't believe there's actually a water tower right there on the water treatment plant. I don't believe you can view that, and everything we'll have will be way below the height of that water tower. Usually on these, I believe the maximum height's about 20 feet, so it should be below the tree line in most situations.
Are those your trees that we're seeing in these pictures? Are they on your property, Alabama Power's property, or are they on someone else's?
No, ma'am. So if you'll flip to this page right here, then the photographs, the areas where we took photographs are numbered. So our sub-site is actually way back up in the corner of this property. And so the neighborhood has a large buffer of trees that I guess belongs to the Sherman Heights neighborhood that should obstruct the view.
And we have not yet acquired the property.
Right,
That's
that's
in
right.
process.
Talking. Okay, so what is up above the sub-site? What did you say was located there? It looks like by the railroad tracks, maybe?
Yes, ma'am. So if you're looking here, this would all be the Village Creek Treatment Facility. There's a rail line that runs right here. This is actually Vulcan Materials. It's their truck yard where they repair their heavy equipment. And then this little sliver right here is also Vulcan Materials, and I think it's a lay-down yard for them where they lay materials and job site equipment.
Yeah, that's.
Okay. You want to tell us anything else, or is that it?
No, ma'am, that's the whole spiel.
Okay, Counselor Woods, do you have any questions?
No, it's pretty straightforward on this one. I think this is far enough away from the neighborhood, and they supported it, so I don't see any issues. Move that we send this to full council with a positive recommendation.
Well, I'm in favor of that, but I want to ask a question before we make a motion, and that's just simply, for a while, I'm sure you know, we had people shooting at substations and shooting at power equipment.
Yes,
So how secure is this site? And it's wonderful that nobody can see it, but can nobody see it, or can somebody see it?
No, ma'am, that would be covered by our corporate security team. So it would be monitored, it just wouldn't be monitored on site.
Okay, and the lighting that you'll put in will all be downward-facing lighting. Mr. Gambrell, don't we require that everything is?
There is a general requirement in the zoning ordinance, yeah, that lighting on site has to stay on site.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Well, I just want to make sure because, we'll hear from the neighbors afterwards if we don't cover our bases. And y'all will hear from them too, so. That's the way it works. So now I will accept your motion.
That corporate security sounded formidable.
Well, but now with the kind of guns that people have, you can shoot from a long way off and nobody can even see you, which is unfortunate.
I don't think we can prevent that, but.
No, but I just wondered
prepare
how
for that.
visible the.
Very isolated. I mean, it's not visible from any main thoroughfare, so I think you have to be intentionally going back to that cul-de-sac to even notice that something's back
Yeah,
there.
and the security people have their cameras there to see who's lurking.
And it's controlled, it will have fencing.
Yes, ma'am. It'll be a high fence all the way around it with controlled access.
Okay. So I'm accepting your motion, so any further discussion? I'll second it, and then okay, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so there you are.
Yes, ma'am, thank you very much.
We'll see y'all at the council meeting.
Thank you.
Okay,
We appreciate
now-
your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for waiting so long. I really apologize to everyone for our tardiness. But
No problem.
we'll be better,
We'll
in
be
better
better.
shape next time, when you're not
Okay.
here.
I'm sure
Okay,
we'll be
so-
back
We'll be
soon.
back.
So our next case,
Yes, ma'am. The next case is ZAC 2023-12. This one's located in the Inslee neighborhood, and it's an application to change zone district boundaries from CR5, contingency multiple dwelling district, to C2, general commercial district, in order to allow for an event center, which is situated in the southwest quarter, section 31, township 17 south, range 3 west, 35218, that is in council district 9. Once again, it's an event center proposed with an office. The subject property, 2205 Avenue G, currently zoned CR5. Properties to the north, south, east, and west are also zoned CR5. The project will encompass 4 lots that are approximately 15,600 square feet. The applicant would like to convert the existing church into an upscale event venue and office space for image events and consulting. The intention is to utilize the space for multiple purposes, including office space, for the event, image event team, and then also an event venue. A portion of the property will be transformed into a versatile event venue capable of hosting events, various types. Valuable addition to Inslee. And then they'll be doing some inventory storage. The property will also serve as a storage space for event-related inventory. The long-range land use plan identifies the property as residential low. Once again, an event center requires a special exception. There are limitations on the time of operation within the conditions of the zoning ordinance. Those times are from 7 a.m. to midnight when they're 200 feet from a dwelling district. And then it's a possibility that the traffic engineer could require a traffic study. The office use would be permitted in C2. The parking requirement for event center is 1 per 100. The event center is 2,728 square feet. They're required to have 27 spaces. The plan shows 7 spaces in a grassy area that will accommodate additional parking. The applicant will need to apply for a modification for the 7 versus the required 27. Let's see, applicant plans to use the structures that are currently available on site, no new construction at this time. A subdivision action would be required to combine the 4 lots into one. The proposal was reviewed by City's landscape architect, and she mentioned that a full landscaping plan will be required, including species, size, and quantities. It would be helpful to have the parking spaces delineated in the overflow area so landscaping requirements can be determined. Stormwater is a similar comment that they normally put on here, that you're going to have to follow the various permits there: soil erosion, civil construction, stormwater permit. BDOT, all driveways, curb cuts will need to be reviewed by BDOT to ensure adequate ingress, egress. The neighborhood, Inslee Neighborhood Association met at a regular scheduled meeting September 21, 2023 to review the proposed project and voted to support the proposed zoning request 13-0. There were a couple of possible queue conditions listed. They mentioned a limitation of the hours of operation because of its proximity to residential, and the limit of uses allowed to multifamily residential, office, place of worship, and event center. The Zoning Advisory Committee met at a regular scheduled meeting on October 17, 2023 to review proposed project, voted to recommend to the full council with the same key conditions mentioned from the neighborhood. And that concludes the report.
okay, under the possible queue conditions, it's mentioned limitation on hours, but there's no hours mentioned.
Correct. And so I guess that's, that's a recommendation, and maybe I don't know, maybe they didn't have specifics. I know, as mentioned, the ordinance itself would limit it from 7 a.m. to midnight based on the fact that it's within 200 feet of dwelling. So, I mean, that's kind of the extent of their hours that are possible, according to the ordinance. So,
Okay, so you're the applicant, please
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
us your name and address.
My name is Danielle Baskin. I'm the owner of the Image Events and Consulting, and the address is 2205 Avenue G, Inslee, Birmingham, Alabama 35218.
Okay. So tell us what you're doing.
So in June of 2023, we purchased the property at 2205 Avenue G. It was a church prior to our purchase, and so we are looking to rezone that assembly is what I learned that it was, into a commercial space where we're able to do an upscale event venue and host small and large events. Based on what I know about the square footage of the building, we are able to accommodate anywhere between 150 to 200 guests within the space. And so that's what we are looking to do. We will need to hold our inventory storage there on the property as well, in addition to office space for our Image Events team, and then of course host those events on site.
Okay, so if you're going to have 150 to 200 guests and you have 7 parking spaces, what is your plan?
So there's actually a total of 8 parking spaces. It shows 7 on that diagram, but there's 8. When I looked at it, it's 8 there, and then we measured out. There is additional in the grassy area on the side. There's an additional 5 spaces there. I have spoken with a couple of the neighbors that are there in the neighborhood adjacent from the space, and they have allowed us to use the parking, because street parking was one of the things that was specified when we purchased the property, that we were able to do street parking, the same as the church had used the street parking. I have also reached out to acquire the property that it's actually a vacant lot on the corner of 22nd Street and Avenue G. So I just hadn't heard any information back on if those properties are available, if they are in the city, and if so, how we can acquire those properties. Again, they're vacant lots that we would turn into parking spaces.
Okay, so where did you say the vacant lots were?
They are on the corner of 22nd and Avenue G.
I think the address on here shows 2124. Is that right?
Is it catty corner from
Yeah,
the site?
that's what I think,
Yes.
yeah.
And the vacant lots are in the residential area, or are they in the commercial area?
They're in the residential.
What is it? No, they're in the commercial. Orange is commercial.
No, yeah, orange is, that's a land use plan. So yeah, that color is residential medium.
And what is the yellow?
The yellow is kind of residential low.
All right.
Okay, so you don't have parking, but you hope you're gonna have some. And you wanna use the street parking, and I guess the residents don't use the street parking.
So after having conversations with quite a few of the residents, they do use the street parking occasionally, but what they ask is that if I'm hosting a large event, is that we just communicate with them and make sure that it's okay for that particular day or event prior to, and then also that we don't block their driveways or easements and things of that nature. So essentially, most of them said when the church was there in operation, they utilized street parking as well. But they did get a little frustrated because there was no communication, and then sometimes their driveways and other spaces that they used to park, to get home were blocked. And so we definitely assured them that we'd make sure we don't do any of that. We will have secure parking attendants for each event. We'll also make sure that we have signage out as well on spaces that cannot be parked in.
Okay, and what kind of security do you plan on having?
So we will have a private security company that we've outsourced and contracted to work all of our events. Typically, that security guard would be 1 to 2, depending on the size of the event, based on the needs. Currently, we don't have any type of 24-hour security, so security would only be used as needed during event times.
Okay. Councilor Woods, do you have any questions?
Looking at these lots, the parking thing is a good thing. So I would definitely try to look, I'm trying to see who owns these lots now. They look like they're privately owned. But I would definitely try to identify some additional parking that you control.
Yeah, I mean, you really, I mean, you're invading single-family, residential low neighborhood, and then you want to put your parking in a residential medium neighborhood. Like, were there not any commercial spaces for you to utilize or to purchase that were not in somebody's neighborhood?
Not in the requirements, what we were looking for. So, and when we acquired this one, we were under the process, under the, assumption that it was, since a church was already operating, but understanding that a church is different from a commercial, it's, assembly, but that was a learning process. So we didn't realize we'd have to go through the rezoning process, to, make it a commercial property if we were gonna host events and do other things there. But that was one of the questions at the last meeting in reference to parking, simply because the church had at least 100 to 150 members that were there consistently during, on Sunday only. Sunday only. Mm-hmm.
And you won't be open only on Sunday, you'll be open, it's
We
like 7
look at
days a
Monday.
week.
Yes, and again, it's not every day of the week, it is just based on when events are booked. Typically during the week, Monday through Thursday, it'll be smaller events that will just be on site. Parking more than likely wouldn't be an issue. So the biggest issue would be for Friday and Saturday when the large events typically will take place.
All right, the land bank owns two of those lots, 2121 and 2119.
Okay.
And I guess that's gonna be probably Avenue F, or 20, I'm not sure it's 22nd Street, instead of Avenue F. But you're definitely gonna have to have probably a little bit more robust plan, or not say you're gonna have 200 people in the building.
So you said 2121 is land bank, and what was the other one?
2119.
Well, that's way over there.
Yeah, it's like that lot directly. It looks like one big lot, but it's like four separate
It's
lots.
4 separate. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Councilor Woods, do you have any questions?
I guess, do we want to look at the time window of setting? We just set one at 10. What? I guess talk about what you envision like operating as far as your hours and things like that.
So the hours of operation that we've set are Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. to midnight, and then Sunday 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And again, we don't foresee hosting multiple events in one day, so it would be a nature of a setup, a breakdown, and an event for a one day, which means that client would have to be wrapped and out of the space by 12 a.m. So the party would typically be over, or the event, whatever we're hosting, will be over around 11 a.m. and we give an hour for loadout time.
Yeah, I mean, and I think whenever we change key conditions, we got to send it back and re-advertise.
Yeah, so we need to, whatever we advertise needs to be approved or not, and then,
yeah, my thought is to send this to the full council and sort it out there, but it's possible that some more queues get tagged on this. I know we just set one at like 10 p.m., kind of based on some conversations that business owner had with what was a different community, but I would definitely have something that speaks to the residents.
I'm okay with 10 p.m. I want to be there that late anyway.
Okay, can you tell us those hours again?
So what we currently have set is 7 a.m. to midnight. That's Monday through Saturday. And Sunday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
8 to 10 on Sunday.
But I guess my point is, if it goes full council and cues get added then it's gonna re-rack it and probably will come back here and do it again. So it's just a time thing, but I'm willing to allow you to roll the dice. Or feeling lucky.
I feel lucky.
All right.
Okay, so then the queue is gonna be the 7 to 12, Monday through Saturday, Sunday 8 to 10.
7 to 12 on weeknights? No,
No, she said
no, we,
8. You said 8 to 10.
8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
What day?
Sunday.
That's on Sunday.
8 to 10 on Sunday.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
what's
then
the-
what
And Monday
day?
through Saturday. I did have 7 a.m. to 12 a.m., which again,
Okay.
we can revamp.
Or is it
I see what you're saying as far
Yeah,
as
I mean,
weekdays.
if people in the neighborhood like to sleep at night, which most of us at least try to.
Now I would, if you want to do like the weekend separate from the week.
Sure.
that might make
Yeah,
more sense.
Saturday night that might make sense to midnight, but if people actually live there, I mean, that's the problem with putting this kind of thing in a residential neighborhood. It doesn't make any sense, but of course, people want to do it. But it's just midnight, that's,
So we can revamp those to Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday, 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. And then Sunday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
that makes better sense.
And you said Monday through Thursday, 7 to 8?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Friday and Saturday to midnight.
I guess
Yes.
you can't have a good time on Wednesday.
You're supposed to be at church on Wednesday.
Church is only an hour, so.
I mean, I used to be a church, so.
Yeah, a lot of people used to be. Okay, so then the queue conditions, we need to queue out everything, kind of like we did on the other one, because we don't want to get to the meeting and not have protected the residents from a business being operated in their neighborhood.
So this is going 2C2.
Right.
Yeah, so we can just use that same list that we created for Mr. Courtney Jones.
Okay. Just duplicate that, or, yeah, we could do that.
I assume you were listening.
I was listening. I don't know what the other ones were. I remember what he was able to do.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
we want to do is say what is allowed or.
That's right, I think-
It's easier if you say what is allowed.
To me, that's a better way to do
The
it,
list
yeah.
is 45 feet long.
Exactly, yeah, and so, to me, that's the better way to do it, is just, and that's kind of what's written here, limit the uses allowed to these uses.
Can you read those for me?
Yeah, and so the ones that are listed on this page is multifamily residential, office, place of worship, and event center.
And why would we put multifamily residential in a single-family neighborhood?
Well,
Why would we put a business in a single-family neighborhood?
yeah, it's,
So, no, I don't.
it's currently zoned R5. So I think that's why the multifamily's on there, because currently it's zoned R5 and that's allowed.
Yeah,
But,
and we certainly need to get where a drug rehab place can.
Right.
We need to get that out of there.
right. So, like I say, we could write it such that we say all the uses that are excluded, or we can write it such that, these are all the uses that are allowed.
I think we ought to do the allowed ones.
Yeah,
Whichever one is smaller.
yeah. That's the way I like to do
We're gonna
it.
have to read them all.
Right.
I like
out
both
loud.
lists. So
Can he repeat the allowed things?
Okay, can you repeat the list of allowed things?
Yeah, all right, so the ones that are listed here is multifamily residential, office, place of worship, and event center.
Okay. Okay, is that satisfactory with you?
That is correct. I know you all mentioned something about a public or a farmer's market. Does that mean that can or cannot happen on the space?
Right, if we wrote the queue this way, those would not be allowed.
all right, let's add in the, I don't know, office space, warehouse, farmer's market. We want solar panels.
Well, what could a solar panel hurt? I mean, the residents might
Gotta pay
have
that
solar
Alpine Power
panels
fee.
on their roof. Yeah, so we'll put it, or do you want the farmer's market to be added to our list of allowable?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Better get the mobile.
How about the
grocery
public
Okay.
market and the mobile grocery store?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Duplex, triplex, quadplex. Like you said, multifamily.
Yeah, multifamily, I mean, to my mind, that would fit under there.
The single family and multifamily, is that the same or is that a different?
No, yeah, so, single family would be allowed, I think, I'd have to look at the list, but, yeah, multifamily to me, would be, unit, or a development that's over 5 units is the way it's currently defined in the ordinance. But it would make sense to me that if you're willing to allow that, you would allow something less.
Yeah,
You know.
that does make sense.
So we can add those in there. But you said farmer's market, mobile grocery, public market. So it's funny because I'm kind of going back to what you said earlier, Valerie, or Councilor Abbott, excuse me, is that, maybe it just needs to mirror what Mr. Jones has said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like it because it's a similar thing. They're putting their business in the middle of a residential neighborhood. So the farmer's market and the public market, people like to sell their little,
Yeah.
earrings they make in their den when they're watching TV, so. Seems like farmer's market and so it really sounds like Mr. Jones's list.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do. That'll be easy to do.
Okay.
And we did add the warehouse.
Warehouse?
Well, the storage that you're doing, I think
This is more so for
is,
inventory.
yeah, I think that's just kind of accessory to your use. I mean, it's not a warehouse per se.
Yeah, you're not gonna rent out.
Yeah, warehouse would be, something different.
Okay.
Okay, so, Counselor Woods? Any
Good on the
questions?
list of queued in or allowable uses.
Well, okay, yeah, I could do that. Here, let's do it this way so I can have this list. So the allowed uses would be farmer's market, public market, office, duplex, triplex, quadplex, communal living, garage sale, yard sale, park, greenway, event center, mobile grocery, and then the solar.
Okay,
And fix the house.
you okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you okay? Let's have a motion.
Yeah, they'll be going to the full council to have your fate decided soon. But I move we send this to the full council. I give you a positive recommendation. Vote to recommend.
And I'm going to abstain, so you need to change to the other one.
I'll withdraw that motion. I move that we send this to the full council with no recommendation.
Okay, but a list of Q conditions that we propose just in case.
Correct.
Right,
And that would be the list that Mr. Gambrell just read to us.
right. He's gonna provide.
Okay, so any further discussion?
Not this time. I'm ready.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So, we'll see you at the council meeting.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Is there a way I can get a copy of that? Or
Yeah, oh yeah, we'll make sure you get copies.
I didn't get one from the last meeting.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just make a note.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We're sorry you had to wait so long.
No worries, thank you. Not have a good evening.
Just saying.
Thank you. Now, on our agenda, we have one of my favorites, item 4, adjourn.
Never leaves any room for new business, so.
Never.
So I move adjournment.
We've learned our lesson on new business. Surprise. Okay, well, I don't have my gavel, but we're adjourned.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.